Good afternoon. So our first topic with Module 2 is vital signs. And vital signs is very important as caregiver because vital signs will be used as baseline if your patient is having disease or any symptoms of disease, it will be manifested in vital signs. So let's take a look what will be included in vital signs. So vital signs reflects the function of three body processes essential for life, such as regulation of the body temperature, breathing, heart function. So let's start with temperature. So one areas in vital signs is temperature. Temperature is the amount of heat in the body. So what are the factors affecting body temperature? First is you have stress, you have time of the day, you have the environment, age, gender, exercise, and disease. If you're stressed, your temperature will be higher than if you're not stressed. Time of the day, okay, depende yan kung anong oras ka. So if it's morning, like 10 a.m. onwards, so mas mataas yung temperature mo compare sa natutulog ka like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So dito pinakamababa yung temperature mo. Then environment, kung mainit, of course, mas mataas ang temperature mo. Kung nasa environment ka naman na malamig, mas mababa ang temperature mo. Age, sinong mas mataas ang temperature, matanda or bata? So it will be the adult. Then gender, male or female, depende. So if the female is having their menstruation or menstrual cycle, their temperature will be coming high. Okay, kasi because of hormonal changes. Then exercise, if you're exerting more effort, more physical activity, so your temperature will be high kasi pinagpawisan ka and everything. Then disease, if you have any infection, of course, your temperature will be high. So what are the temperature sites we are using to check the patient's temperature? We have the oral, preferred because it's easy. So it's oral. We have the rectal, or yun sa puwet. It is the most accurate. Bakit siya ang pinaka-accurate sa lahat? Because siya yung pinaka nasa loob. Lahat ng nasa loob ay mas accurate kasi hindi siya naaapektuhan ng environment. Then, tympanic membrane is dito sa tenga. Then, it is more than accurate than oral and axillary. Then, temporal artery site, it is accurate and it's non-invasive. Pag sinabi mong temporal, pwedeng dito sa ulo, it also called as forehead, pwedeng dito, and pwedeng sa likod ng tenga. And axillary site, it is an accessible site. So axillary means underarm. So yan yung inipit sa kilikili. So these are the normal values of temperature based on the age. We have the adult and we have the pediatric. So please be familiarized with the normal values of the temperature. You will notice that rectal temperature, you will see that for the adult and for the pediatrics, the normal is 38. So it doesn't mean if you're 38.1, you're having a fever. So it depends. Kung depende sa anong site kinuhanan. Dahil mas nasa loob ang rectal, mas mainit. Kaya mas ang range ng normal values niya is mas mataas. So these are the normal values. So pag sinabi nating fever, ibig sabihin fever or hyperthermia. Hyper means high. Thermia is temperature. Hyperpyrexia also is another term. So it is a temperature above the normal range. Then hypothermia is the opposite. Hypo means low, so it will be temperature below the normal range. You can see hypothermia kung ang patient mo is nababad ng ilang oras sa water. So, pwede siyang magkaroon ng hypothermia. Or yung mga baby na hindi nyo na walang pag malamig wala silang cloth na naka-cover sa kanila, pwede silang mag-hypothermia. Mabilis silang mag-hypothermia. Then we are using also thermometers. This is the device which is used to check the temperature. So we have different kinds of thermometer. We have the glass, we have the standard, tympanic, temporal, digital, disposable, temperature, and pacifier. So later on, I will upload also how you will check the temperature, the demonstration on how to check temperature. So next one after temperature is the pulse. Okay, pulse is the beat of the heart felt at an artery as a wave of blood passes through the artery. Pulse rate is the number of pulsations that can be felt in 1 minute. Ilang pulso sa isang minuto. That is your pulse rate. We can use in assessing pulse rate. Usually, we are using, as caregiver, we are using the radial. Okay, the radial pulse. Okay, so the normal values of pulse rate according to age, we have the adult here, and we have the adult until to the toddler. So remember that the adult normal pulse rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute. If I ask you to write what is the normal values of pulse rate, you should answer me with digits and also the units. Okay, so it will be incorrect if you put only the number, but you did not put the beats per minute. So the normal for adult is 60 to 100, adolescent, and school age is listed below. So pag sinabi nating dysrhythmia, it is called as irregular pulse rhythm. Pag sinabi mo namang tachycardia, tachy means rapid, and then cardia is heart rate. It means that the heart rate or the pulse rate is increased or rapid than normal. So it will be, so the normal for adult is 60 to 100 beats per minute. So tachycardia is 101 onwards. Pag sinabi mong bradycardia, kabaliktaran naman niya, slow means brady and hard is cardia. So 60 to 100 ang normal. So below 60, that is already bradycardia. So remember the pulse sites. Okay, ano-ano yung mga pulse sites na ginagamit natin sa to check the pulse. So we have the temporal, yan yung sa sentido. We have the carotid pulse. Carotid pulse is being used when you're having cardiac arrest and you're using and you're you're doing CPR for your patient. To check the pulse, don't check the radial pulse. You should check the carotid pulse. How to check carotid pulse is, okay, you locate your trachea here and then slide on the right or on the left because you have two carotid pulse. So you slide on the left, for example, okay, you slide on the left, meron kang mafe-feel dyan na malalim. Okay? Dun sa malalim na part na tinatawag nating groove, okay, nandun ang carotid pulse mo. So the carotid pulse, it's between your trachea and your muscle. So dito sa may malalim, sa katabi niyan is merong muscle kang mararamdaman. That's why your carotid pulse is between your trachea and a muscle. Pag sinabi mo namang apical pulse yan yung natatagpuan sa puso. Brachial pulse is yung dito. Brachial pulse sa bata, yan yung pinagamit nila pang check ng pulse. Kung ang patient mo na bata, infant, ay nagkaroon ng cardiac arrest, they will check not on carotid pulse, but they will check on the brachial pulse. Okay? So, brachial pulse. So, in the infant, brachial pulse is located between the shoulder and the elbow. It's in the inner aspect, just between, it's between, so sa gitna. So, nandito siya. Makikita nyo dyan sa picture na medyo mababa na siya. So, sa bata kasi maikli pa yung kanilang bias, kaya nasa gitna ang pag-check ng later on, magiging ganito na siya. So, dito na ang brachial pulse. Then, you have also radial pulse. So, ito yung usual na ginagamit natin ng pang-check ng pulso. Radial and then apical. Yan yung mga ginagamit natin. We can also find pulse in your femoral or dun sa singit, popliteal, sa sa alak-alakan, sa likod ng tuhod. That's popliteal. And you have the posterior tibialis pulse. Okay. And then you have the dorsalis pedis pulse. So these are the pulses that you are having. So we have factors affecting also the pulse. We have the medication. Maraming gamot ang nakakaapekto, nakakapagpataas or nakakapagpababa ng pulse. Disease, okay? Kung may sakit ka sa puso, may mga sakit sa puso na nakakapagpababa ng pulso. Exercise, once na nag-exercise ka, nag-workout ka, mas mataas ang pulse rate mo. Kaya nga sasabihin mo sa pasyente bago ka mag-check ng pulse, "Ma'am, sir, meron ba kayong ginawa bago kayo pumunta dito? If meron, dapat mag-rest muna po kayo ng 30 minutes before tayo mag-check to make sure na accurate yung makukuha nating result." Gender, mas mataas ang pulse rate ng bata kesa sa matanda. Okay? Mas mabilis ang pagpulso nila. So normally, it will be 120 to 160 their normal pulse rate. Then, gender, according to study, mas mataas ang pulse rate ng mga lalaki kaysa sa babae. Why? Because ang mga lalaki is mas maraming physical activities kaysa sa babae. Then, hormones, okay? Kung meron ka mga hormonal changes, papansin mo, nagkakaroon ka ng palpitations, kaya nakakaapekto ang hormones sa pulse. Then, stress, pag mas stress ka, mas mataas ang pulse rate mo. Pag relax ka lang, mas normal ang pulse rate mo. And temperature, makikita nyo yan, pag meron kang fever, mas mataas ang temperature mo, nag-a-affect sa pulse, mas tumataas din siya. So, they are directly proportional. Then, we can measure pulse using two ways. We have the radial pulse and we have the apical pulse. But what is required to teach, what is required for your course is only radial pulse. So we will leave the apical pulse because it is being taught in CNA. So radial pulse is palpating the radial arteries. How you will know that you're doing or palpating the right arteries or radial arteries? Minsan nagkakabaliktad. Ang landmark nyo is yung thumb nyo. So yung thumb nyo, slide nyo siya pababa and then this is your radial pulse. You always use 2 to 3 fingers, but 3 fingers is better than 2 kasi mas malaki yung sakop niya. So mas may mararamdaman kayo. At first, you will not appreciate the pulse because bago pa. Pero once na always kayo nagpa-practice, magiging expert din kayo sa pag-check ng radial pulse. Sa normal na tao, you are checking the pulse for 30 seconds. So, you need to have a second hand clock, okay, to check the pulse. So, you check the pulse for 30 seconds. For example, for 30 seconds, you got 40 beats per minute. So you multiply it by 2. So it will be 80 beats per minute. if your patient have abnormal conditions like he has or she has problem with the heart, blood pressure, etc., or your patient is a baby, okay, you should check the pulse for 1 full minute, okay, 1 full minute or 60 seconds. So later I will show you how to measure the pulse. Respiratory rate. So when you're checking respiratory rate, it is the number of times. Respiratory rate is another vital signs, okay? This is the number of times the person breathes in 1 minute. So one breath in both an inhalation and exhalation. So pag nag-check kayo ng respiratory rate, one cycle is isang inhalation and isang exhalation. Inhale, exhale, so it will be counted as one, not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not like that. So 1, 2, 3. So that will be respiratory rate. Actually, respiratory rate is also will be taken after pulse rate. Make sure that your patient is not aware that you're taking their respiratory rate. So for example, nag-check ka ng pulse rate, then huwag mong sasabihin yung result ng pulse rate. After nun, mag-check ka na ng respiratory rate. Para hindi siya maging aware na chine-check mo. Pag sinabi mo kasing, I finished your pulse rate and your pulse rate is 80. And then, now, I will check your respiratory rate. So, pag nag-check ka ng respiratory rate at sinabi mo sa kanya, magiging aware siya. So, pwede niyang kontrolin yung paghinga niya. So, it will be inaccurate. So, sa demonstration, if you told the I will check your respiratory rate, okay, it will be deducted to your score. So, it should not be told to the patient. So, meron tayong mga different terms na ginagamit sa respiratory rate. We have the respiratory rhythm. Gaano ba ka-regular yung paghinga ng patient? Then, we have the depth of respiration. Gaano ba siya kalalim? Yung meron naman sobrang babaw. So, that is the depth of respiration. We also have eupnea. AU means normal. So, eupnea means normal respiratory rate. So these are the normal values of respiratory rate. So we have the adult. Again, you need to include the units when I'm asking what is the normal values. So the adult normal respiratory rate is 12 to 20 breaths per minute. Yung pulse rate, it is beats per minute. Minsan napapag-interchange nyo yan. So sa pulse rate, it's beats per minute, while sa respiratory rate, it's breaths per minute. Then other age group, 15 to 20, school age 15 to 25, and then toddler to infant, it's 32. Infant is 30 to 60. So makikita nyo dito mas mataas ang respiratory rate ng infant. So, pag sinabi nating tachypnea, tachy means rapid, ibig sabihin mataas ang paghinga niya kaysa sa normal, which is kung sa adult, 12 to 20, mas mataas siya doon. So, kunyari 22 siya, it will be called as tachypnea. Pag sinabi mo namang bradypnea, mas mababa sa normal. So, ang tawag sa kanya ay bradypnea. Hyperventilation. So, hyperventilation is increased rate and depth of respiration. Then dyspnea, D, nakita nyo to, D ang una niya. So, it will be as labored, and D dito, difficulty respiration. So, yung mga tao na nahihirapan huminga, ang tawag sa kanila ay dyspneic. Or ang tawag sa condition nila or sa symptoms nila ay dyspnea. Dyspnea. So, anong ginagawa mo 'pag nahihirapan huminga? Unang-una, you position your patient into sitting position. Kasi 'pag naka-sitting position, mas nag-e-expand yung lungs compare sa naka-flat position. Then, hypoventilation. Hypoventilation, it is a decreased rate and depth of breathing. Hypoventilation, it is a decreased rate and depth of breathing. So later, I'll show you how to check respiratory rate. Next is blood pressure. Blood pressure is the amount of force exerted against the walls of an artery by the blood. Okay, so nakikita nyo to. Ito yung systolic and diastolic. So, pag nag-contract, ayan, nag-contract yung heart, ang tawag sa kanya ay systolic. Pag nag-ventricular relaxation, tawag sa kanya ay diastolic. Ang unit na pinanggagamit sa blood pressure is mmHg. So, dapat sa answer nyo, meron ding mmHg. So, as I've told you, systole is the heart contraction and diastole is heart relaxation. So, normal values for adult, ito, ang range niya, 100 to 140, lahat ng nandito sa una, yan yung systolic. Lahat ng nandito is your diastolic. So, sa adult, ang range niya is 100 to 140 sa systolic and 60 to 90 sa diastolic. Okay? Kung gusto natin ng specific na value para sa adult, ang normal sa adult is 120 over 80 mmHg or millimeter per mercury. Then the other age group listed below. So we have different terms also. We are hearing from blood pressure, we have hypotension, and we have hyper. Hypo means low and hyper means high. So it means that hypertension is with high blood pressure and hypotension, it's low blood pressure. So if your caregiver already, it's not inappropriate to tell that your patient have high blood. You're always having a wrong perception of high blood. High blood is different from high blood pressure. So if you're now your caregiver already, so you should tell if your patient have high blood pressure, you should tell that they are hypertensive, not high blood. Then hypotension is low blood pressure. Low blood pressure. So we have different factors affecting blood pressure. You have the age, you have the gender, blood volume, stress, pain, exercise, weight, race, diet, drugs, position, smoking, and alcohol. As you ages, your blood pressure will be increased. Male have higher blood pressure than female, according to research. Blood volume. Ano yung blood volume? Gaano ba karami yung blood mo sa katawan or the amount of blood na meron ka sa katawan? Guys, always remember that your blood volume is equal to your blood pressure. So kung ikaw ay dehydrated, so konti lang ang blood mo, konti lang yung volume ng blood sa katawan mo kasi ang blood mo composed yan ng water. Yung water, may water part din siya which is the plasma. So okay. So you have the wala na ako. So if you are dehydrated, your patient is dehydrated, expect that the blood volume is decrease kasi nga konti yung the blood pressure is decrease kasi nga yung blood volume niya ay decrease. Then if you're stressed, mas mataas ang blood pressure. Pag in pain ka, mas mataas ang blood pressure. Pag nag-exercise ka, mas mataas. Pag weight, mas mataas ang weight mo, mas mataba ka, mas at risk ka na, mataas ang blood pressure. Sa race, ibig sabihin anong lahi ka, usually Americans or Black Americans are more at risk of having high blood pressure. Then, sa diet, kung mahilig ka sa salty foods and fatty foods, okay, salt will attract water. Always remember, salt attracts water. So, kung marami kang salt attracts water, it means that dumadami ang blood volume mo. Pag dumami ang blood volume mo, it will increase also your blood pressure. Then, saan ba ako? You have also, and also if you're eating too much fatty foods, okay, it will stuck on your blood vessels, okay? So hindi na masyadong makakadaan masyado, maliit na yung dadaanan ng dugo. So tataas ang blood pressure mo. Then position. Position may change your blood pressure kung anong position ka. Then smoking, of course, it will increase your blood pressure, and alcohol, it will decrease your blood pressure because it is a depressant. So Korotkov sounds, these are the usual sounds that we are hearing when we're checking blood pressure. So the important thing, ito yung phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ito yung mga sounds na maririnig nyo during checking of your blood pressure. The important phase that you need to remember is yung phase 1 and yung phase 5. Phase 1 is the first tapping sound na maririnig nyo yung malakas. So this will be your systolic. For example, this is your 120. And the last sound heard before the period of continuous silence, this is your diastolic pressure. Doon sa time na una mong narinig yung silence, okay, that is your diastolic. Okay? Hindi totoo na kung ano yung narinig mong sound bago mag-silence, kundi ano yung unang nawala yung o nagkaroon ng silence, that is your diastolic. So we have different types of equipments that we are using in checking of blood pressure. We have the aneroid type. So ito yung gagamitin natin, yung manual type. So they have different parts of this aneroid type. You have the cuff, you have the bulb, you have the manometer. So ito yung mga parts niya. We have the mercurial type, which is not used nowadays because it's dangerous. You have the electronic type. It's not it's very easy to use, but it's not accurate because electric or gadgets can affect its result. Wrist type, it's not that accurate also. When you're checking blood pressure, you should not take your BP on the arm na mayroong IV, may swero, yung may mga simento, arm cast, yung mga dialysis access site, kasi pwede yung masira dahil sa pressure. Yung mga patient na nag-breast surgery like pinatanggal ang suso. Kunyari sa right niya pinatanggal, wag mong lalagyan ng blood pressure dun sa kamay. Malapit dun sa site na tinanggalan ng suso. Bakit? Kasi pwede siyang magkaroon ng tinatawag na edema or lymphedema. Then, on an injured arm, so kung may fractures yan, of course, wag mo i-BP yan. Then ask the nurse if you're not sure which arm is to use. Let the person rest for 10 to 20 or 30 minutes before measuring BP dahil it can affect the result. Measure BP also with person sitting or lying. So pwede yan. Then, apply the cuff to the bare upper arm. Remove the clothing. Make sure pag tinaas mo yung clothing, hindi siya masyadong mahigpit kasi makaka-apekto yan. Make sure the cuff is snug. Dapat saktong-sakto yan dito sa arm mo. Kasi pag maluwag at saka pag masyadong masikip, hindi yan accurate. Use a larger cuff if the person is obese. Huwag mong ipilit na yung normal cuff is ilagay sa obese kasi mataas ang reading niyan. Then use a small cuff if the person has a very small arm, or kung pediatric ang patient mo, pediatric cuff din ang gamitin mo. Make sure the room is quiet, okay? Talking, TV, radio, and sounds from the hallway can affect an accurate measurement. Then place the diaphragm of the stethoscope firmly over the brachial artery. So ilagay mo sa brachial artery. The entire diaphragm must have contact with the skin. So wag mo yan, kung yan ay may damit, wag mo ilalagay, wag mong ilagay yung stethoscope sa damit, dapat sa skin mismo. Have the manometer where you can clearly see it. So it will be eye level. Measure the systolic and diastolic pressure. The point where the sound disappears is your diastolic pressure. Then, take the BP again. If you are not sure of an accurate measurement, wait to 30 to 60 seconds. Kunyari, hindi mo nakuha yung BP. Mag-wait ka ng 1 minute, 30 seconds or 1 minute to recheck again. Okay? Para ma-make sure mo na bumalik ulit ang sa normal yung arteries mo and veins. Then, tell the nurse once if you have hear the blood pressure. If you cannot hear. May mga patient na mahirap talagang i-check yung BP. Pero as a time, later on, pag marunong ka na is maririnig mo din siya. So before getting the real blood pressure of the patient, you should check first the estimated systolic pressure. Okay? You should check the estimated systolic pressure. So you inflate the cuff until you can no longer the pulse and note this point. So ilagay mo siya dito, mamaya papakita ko sa video. Inflate the cuff until you can no longer feel the pulse. Note this point. Then you add 30. So later may demonstration tayo. Next is oxygen saturation. Oxygen saturation, it is the fraction of oxygen saturated. Ito yung kung ilan yung oxygen supply mo sa katawan or sa blood. Ang tawag doon is oxygen saturation. Ang normal natin is 95 to 100%. Ang machine na ginagamit to check yung oxygen saturation is yung pulse oximeter. So sa pulse oximeter, meron kayong dalawang bagay na makikita. You have the pulse, ito yung pulse, and you have the SpO2 or yung oxygen saturation. So ano yung mga factors na nakakaapekto sa oxygen saturation? So you have the bright light, okay? Pag sa light, masyadong maliwanag, nakaka-apekto yun sa result ng pulse rate, pulse oximeter or oxygen saturation. Pag ang patient mo nanginginig at nilagay mo sa kamay, of course, nakaka-affect yun sa oxygen saturation. Pulse volume, kung ang patient mo is dehydrated, like meron na siyang hypovolemic shock or may problema siya sa puso, like arrhythmia. So, may problem, makaka-apekto yan sa SpO2. Vasoconstriction, kung malamig ang kamay, okay, make sure na i-warm nyo muna siya like this or lagyan nyo ng blanket or anything. So, the result will be accurate. Then, if the patient have carbon monoxide poisoning, magkakaroon siya ng falsely high saturation reading. Yan na. Then, you have the point of care testing or CBG or capillary blood glucose test o pag-check ng sugar ay ginagamit natin sa time na ang patient mo ay diabetic. Okay? Always remember na ang tandaan lang natin na dapat ang strips mo ay laging up to date, hindi siya expired. Kasi pag expired ang ginamit mo, inaccurate reading yan. Make sure na you follow the instruction of the glucometer disinfectant. Know how to use the equipment. Make sure the glucometer was tested for accuracy. Kinakalibrate yan. Then you enter the ID or make sure that the one you're checking is the right patient. Then report if there's any abnormality. You report to your superior, okay, or the doctor. So, what is the normal values of CBG? It is 80 to 120 mg per DL. The best time to test is 2 hours before and 2 hours after meal. For example, 7 a.m. ka talaga kumakain, so pwede mo siyang i-check ng 5 a.m. or 9 a.m. So that's all for today. We will have a quiz after this.